He is looking for a second date update with a guy named Andrew, and we're going to try to help her out. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Welcome to Second Date Update.
Hey. So I met this really awesome guy online, and we had a really great date. And now he's not getting back to me.
That's the basic premise of Second Date
the
Update.
whole darn thing.
Now entering its 11th year of success stories.
Yeah. And like all the other stories, I don't know what I did. I can't come up with one thing that could have made this not good.
They never can.
Everything was really comfortable. And I'm used to knowing when I can feel attraction from the other person. And I could tell this guy was into me. I was convinced we were definitely going to have another date.
So what's your situation? Have you been dating for a while?
Yeah, I've been dating for a few months.
Right. So you feel, though, that in your dating experience that you have a pretty good read on men. You can tell when they're into you, when they're not into you. Something tells. I'm getting a vibe that you're used to guys kind of being into you more than maybe you're into them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I usually will go out for 2 or 3 dates with guys before we both, determine one way or another how we feel. But then there are definitely dates I go on where I'm like, nah, we're not feeling it. He's not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. We're not going to do a second one, and that's fine.
Okay. So walk us through it. How'd the date go?
We went to dinner, and then at dinner we talked about getting coffee or lunch next week, and he said he'd call me and set it up. I just haven't heard anything. It's really frustrating.
Okay.
Why do they say they'll call when they have no intention? It's maddening.
Well, I know. They do it all the time.
Yep.
Where did you go after the restaurant? Did you come together or did you meet there?
We met there. He walked me in my car and we hugged. We got in our cars and we left, and that was it.
Wow.
What about the date do you feel went well?
Everything. The conversation was easy. We laughed. I think we both found each other attractive. Everything seemed fine. It was not just fine. It seemed better than fine. It seemed really good.
Yeah.
And did you get a hug or a kiss, or was there any sign of affection at the end of it all?
Just a hug.
Just the hug. That was it.
We hugged. Yeah, we hugged before we got in our cars.
And who initiated that?
It seemed mutual. We both went in for the hug. It wasn't
At the
like
same time,
somebody threw their arms out waiting.
So, well, you're clearly attracted to him.
Yeah.
Enough that you're willing to put yourself out there. You want to follow up on this. Have you been blown off before, or is this your first time?
Blown off a couple of times, but those were times when the interest level was moderate and it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like you didn't care that he didn't call you?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's speculate. If we were just throwing stuff up against the wall to see if it stuck.
What do you got?
I really don't know.
You guys talk about politics, religion.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have any of those.
Maybe he's just not that into you. It could be the old classic thing.
It could be, and that would be fine, but I'd love to know. Because I felt like we were pretty good, and I'm usually pretty right about these things, so it was weird.
Well, why don't we take a break? When we come back, we'll call him up, see what he has to say, and go from there.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, you hang on. Second Date Update continues next. I met Andrew online, and after talking for a few days, they made a dinner date, which seemingly went well. A lot in common. The typical stuff you hear on Second Date Update all the time. Mm-hmm. The key for her was the laughter. There was a lot of laughter. She felt a mutual attraction. She's been in the dating scene long enough where she feels confident in her instinct. She feels that she can tell when there's a spark and when there isn't.
Yeah.
And while this is not the first time she's been blown off, she's been blown off once or twice before. But in this case, it was a surprise to her. So here we are. Unless there's anything else that you thought of, Courtney, that you want to add before we call him up, something you think we need to know.
Nothing I can think of. I mean, if I could, it'd be easier to handle.
Yeah.
All right, let's give him a call.
Hello?
Hi, Andrew.
This is he.
Hey there. It's Jeff and Jen and Fritch at Q102. How are you?
Wow.
Hey.
What's going on?
Not much. How are you guys? This is a surprise.
We're good.
Doing
You a
good.
fan? You ever listen to the show?
Of course. Yeah, I know you guys are.
Well, we spoke to Courtney.
You know what? I actually think I already know.
Oh, were you aware we spoke to her? Did you know she was going to call us?
No, but I listen to the show, so I know what this is.
Okay. Are you intentionally blowing her off, or are you just busy?
No, so I think, like Jeff, I think you will understand, or the guy listeners will tell me if you would have issue with this. So we went to a restaurant, which I won't say the name of it because it factors into the story, and the manager was like a pretty good looking 30-something guy. He was like in pretty good shape. And I guess he like forgot his underwear at the gym or something. So he was like walking around the room in these kind of loose fitting pants. And it made it obvious he was going commando. Like, I swear this guy was like swinging it around on purpose. And Courtney points it out, which is one thing to notice.
Right.
I mean,
If it's that obvious, right?
yeah, it was. But then she would not stop staring at this guy. Like, she's having a conversation with me while staring at this other guy's junk dancing around in his pants. And then she'd kind of like smile and like lick her lips and like giggle.
Oh.
I mean, come on. Like, if
Are
that's
you
convincing,
sure
like,
she
I
was?
can't-
Really? She was licking her lips and giggling.
Yeah, and like it was obvious what she was doing. I'm not. That's also rude. I'm not going to try to compete with that. You know.
That is an absolute lie. I was not staring and licking my lips. You're making this up. Like, I'm not doing any of that. That's insane.
Well, are you sure you did it and didn't realize you were
Right,
doing
it
it?
might
That's
have been
possible.
totally
Like, anytime
unconscious.
we have a half decent looking male guest that comes in, Jen does the exact
I
same
can't
thing.
stop myself.
Well,
I can't
if it's
help
flopping
it.
around like that, I mean, how are you not looking at it?
Right?
It's kind of like if a woman didn't have her bra on
And her nips.
she went running down the
Yes.
hallway.
Right.
You would be like, boing, 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 boing.
What is
You'd be
men and women
looking.
alike
Oh,
would be
yes.
looking.
It'd be more weird if you didn't look.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, how do you not
Oh,
notice
boy.
that?
Right.
We got a loose one.
After I
No, I
walked,
definitely wasn't licking my lips. Okay, like no, that's a lie.
listen, after I walked you to the car, I saw you. You walked back and you handed the guy something, which I'm guessing was your number.
Oh.
He smiled, looked at it, and then stared at your ass as you walked out. So don't give me any of this like I wasn't interested in the guy.
Did that happen, Courtney?
Oh. Courtney?
I knew it.
Well, what does that tell you?
There you have it, folks.
All
Yeah,
right.
but man,
That's
why would
so
she
funny.
be calling us
There
to
you
get
go.
to you if she had his number?
Well,
like,
Well,
what?
honestly-
maybe he never called her.
No. he didn't call
maybe
her.
that's what it
It
is.
didn't work out.
She
Yeah.
just left to go back to that place to see him in his sweatpants
That's
again.
so funny.
I do like gray sweatpants season, though. There's something in it for the ladies, if you know what I mean.
God.
What kind of pants was he? Was he wearing sweatpants or linen or?
No, like that's kind of an athleisure. I don't know, but they're kind of like
Oh.
loose
They look like
pants. Yeah.
sweatpants. Like Old Navy has this whole line of them that they look like sweatpants, but they're made from like a little bit more form-fitting material.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it wears like a sweatpant, but looks a little more official.
Yeah.
Tim wears them all the time.
It's kind of surprising the manager didn't call him out and say, "You need to go home and change, put some underwear on or something."
He was the manager.
He's the
Oh.
manager.
Never mind.
That explains it.
That's
Yeah.
right. He did say it was the manager
Yeah.
earlier. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Jeez.
boy.
That's so funny. All right. Well, thank
Well,
you for
that's
taking
fun.
the call,
Yeah,
Andrew.
appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad I could contribute.
Yes, that was an entertaining story, nevertheless.
Thanks, guys. Good to hear from you.
Not something you
too.
hear every day, that's for sure.